Hello, welcome to this week's installment of Layman's View. This is where we review a week that was. Dlamini once said, South Africa is a movie. Yay, South Africa is a movie. What a movie. So much has happened in 1 week, and let's waste no time and get on with it. I'm Ntobeko Khuluse, this is podcast radio and stuff, and let's look at the biggest story of the week. For me, it has to be now the former contestant of Miss South Africa, Chidimma Adetshina. So, Chidimma Adetshina wanted to represent you as a South African in Miss South Africa. And you had none of that. You didn't want that. Some of you, or majority of you, I don't know the numbers. But we saw a lot of South Africans on social media that were saying, we don't want you to represent us. But Chidimma Adetshina was like, I'll represent you. In fact, I'll represent you whether you want me to represent you or not. And there was a lot of pushback on social media to a point that Miss SA wrote to the Department of Home Affairs on Monday asking for an investigation, or a verification rather, on whether Chidimma Adetshina is a South African or not. And that request was accompanied by a consent from both Chidimma as well as her mother. Then on Wednesday, the Department of Home Affairs dropped some bombs. The department advised us that there is prima facie evidence that there was fraud and identity theft that was committed when Chidimma was registered as a baby in 2001. The statement went on to mention that Chidimma did not participate in this crime because she was an infant back in 2001. However, there is a South African mother that was negatively impacted by this. Ngoba, when Chidimma was registered and there was this identity theft that was done, there was a mother that couldn't register their baby because now they had Chidimma as a mother officially at the Department of Home Affairs. So, which means there is a mother and a baby, a South African mother and a South African baby that suffered because of this crime. Fast forward, the department has, in that statement, before I fast forward, the department has advised that they will continue with their investigation. And a lot of people were emboldened and very happy with the outcome of this investigation. And they went on social media, told us that, you know what, we told you that she's not South African. She cannot represent us in Miss South Africa. And there was a lot of pushback towards abantu abebeti Chidimma should be allowed to participate. You'd remember that the likes of DJ Sbu, Thusi, Professor Thuli Madonsela, even the EFF led by Julius Malema were in Chidimma's corner, and people were calling for their heads. Some people were saying they should be cancelled because they were defending someone that is a South African in an illegal way, even though a lot of people were saying, hey, there's something wrong here. There's something fishy here. So we all know that now Chidimma Adetshina has withdrawn from participating in Miss South Africa. So that what has happened over this week when it comes to this story. But I do have thoughts on this. And my thoughts are around the people that are now happy that Chidimma has withdrawn. And people that are saying, we were right all along. We've been telling you that this girl is not a South African. And I agree that I'm happy that an investigation has taken place and these are the findings. And she has withdrawn. That's good, because it was not going to be good for us as South Africans to have a Miss South Africa that is not a South African, that obtained her citizenship or nationality fraudulently. To be honest, this statement left me with more questions than answers. And one of the questions is, Umama Chidimma Adetshina as a signer a consent form, had she forgotten how Chidimma obtained her South African citizenship? Had she forgotten about the crime that took place in 2001? That was one of the questions that I was asking myself. I'm still asking myself that question. The second question that I'm asking myself is, did Chidimma know or not? Did she know? Yes, she didn't participate back in 2001 in this crime. But right now, does she know that, before this announcement, did she know that there was a crime that took place? Yes or no? We don't know. And those are some of the questions. I just feel like there's so many questions that statement left us with. But I'm not going to go and unpack all of those questions. Where I want to also just look at is the fact that there are people that were pushing for Chidimma to stop participating because they have South Africa's best interest at heart. They wanted to make sure that, whoever is a participant in Miss South Africa is a South African and deserves to participate. But I do believe that it's not everyone that was calling for her to stop that has South Africa's best interest at heart. It is my view that some of you who are calling for her to stop participating, it's not because you love South Africa. Some, it's because you are xenophobic. And you would see some of the comments were shocking. Izatu that some people were giving for Chidimma not to participate. Her names alone, for me, in all honesty, does not necessarily say she's not a South African. But the investigation, I'm happy with it. It tells me that, yes, everyone that was calling for her to not participate, they were right. But we cannot ignore the fact that some used this opportunity to perpetuate and show their xenophobia towards other Africans. I truly do not believe that everyone that was calling for her not to participate, it's because they just love South Africa. Some just hate people that are not South Africans, especially if they are black and from other parts of Africa. And that's the reason why some people were calling for her not to participate. So the point that I'm trying to make is not everyone had best intentions around her not participating. And what's this thing of calling for people to be cancelled because they held a different view? Everyone is entitled to their own view. DJ Sbu, Thusi, Lerato Khanyago, Tulima Donsela, the EFF, and everybody else that felt like Chidimma should participate, they were wrong. I agree. And they need to take accountability and say, no, we were wrong. But to say they should be cancelled because they held a different view, I think that's just rather childish. And as South Africans, we need to re-look and rethink this thing of thinking people should think the way that we think. If someone holds a different view, then that person should be cancelled. Why? They had a different view, which has been proven now that their view was wrong. But it was their view at the time. We cannot want to think the same way. That's not possible. As a people, we have different views, different beliefs, and we see things differently, and we should allow that. We can debate, we can persuade one another, but we cannot say at the end, Lonobe wrong, you should be cancelled. I honestly think we need to rethink this cancel culture just because we don't agree with someone. I think that is wrong. I really think that is wrong. Having said that, I think we should thank everyone that pushed for this investigation to happen, because there is a possibility that Chidimma could have won and she could have represented South Africa while she is not a South African. So everyone that was pushing for this investigation to happen, well done on you. Kudos to you. but not everyone had good intentions. I think we have to agree on that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this story? Are you one of the people that are happy that Chidimma has withdrawn from participating in Miss South Africa? Or you believe that, we are being xenophobic in South Africa, we should have allowed her to participate? What are your thoughts on this? Please go in the comment section and share your thoughts and views. Now, I'm going to move on from this story and then look at the second biggest story of the week. Pastor Mboro. Pastor Mboro. So, I know you know by now, ukuthi Pastor Mboro on Monday, kuphumi video, lapho khona he went to esikoleni with uCelemba, ehamba nabangani bakhe, ne-bodyguard and a family member, to ukuyolanda ingane. A 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, historicity. So the mother of the child, of these kids, recently passed on, and currently the kids are staying with the mother's side. And now Pastor Mboro, the father would like custody of the kids, but it seems like there was some custody battles that were happening there. And as a result, Pastor Mboro took it upon himself with the people that he was with to go to the school and forcefully remove these kids. We know that was followed by ingane, ukuthi not only ingane, there were community members and children. They burnt down Pastor Mboro's church. That was on Tuesday. And Pastor Mboro then appeared with the two other accused, appeared in court, but their case was postponed for bail hearing. Their case was postponed for bail hearing. That will now take place on the 16th of August, which means they currently will spend some time Stocksing. So for me, this story, I find it very interesting. One, I find it interesting that Pastor Mboro is still a pastor. This man has done so many questionable things in South Africa, and there are some people that still believe that this is an anointed guy, this is an anointed man, this is the man of God, after everything that Pastor Mboro has done. And I think this just takes the cake, but Pastor Mboro has done a lot of other things that are shocking. How on earth there are still people that believe that Pastor Mboro is a pastor? Think about the trauma that these two kids are suffering right now. And that trauma will be with them most likely for a very long time. And not only these two kids, even other kids that were in school, they would have been impacted by this. There's no way you wouldn't be impacted if there's a man that comes in school carrying AK-47 and pangas to try and remove someone, kids forcefully. Everyone that is in that school will, in a way, suffer some sort of trauma. It's a traumatic experience. And it just speaks to the safety in our schools. Are our kids safe in public schools if people can just walk in there to remove someone forcefully? Not even someone, to remove kids, children forcefully. There is a problem with our society in so many levels. One, we believe in people like Pastor Mboro. We believe that they are pastors. Two, we put our kids through so much, because fact is, this is not the only custody battle that is happening in South Africa. There are so many, and kids are exposed to these things. And we use kids to fight. This is so sad. So sad. But yeah, that's what happened with the story of Pastor Mboro. We will wait to see if they will be granted bail when they appear in court on the 16th of August, as they are currently kept, in the police custody. So yeah, that's the story with Pastor Mboro. And then also in this week, just to move on to another story, a very sad story. We lost a great actress, Connie Connie Chiume. She's a great South African, well known for her "my baby" term. You know, she used to call everyone that she acts with "my baby," even on screen. Yes, my baby. So may her soul rest in peace. She has acted in so many big movies and great drama series. I can just name a few, the likes of Black Panther, Black is King, Bless Us. We've seen her on Yizo Yizo, Zone 14, Rhythm City, Gomorrah. She passed away at the age of 72. That was on the 6th of August. So may Connie Chiume's soul rest in peace. Definitely a legend and one of the greatest actresses that South Africa has ever seen. Just to wrap up this week's Layman View, I'd like to touch on two more stories. One is around radio. Bongani Mtolo has joined Vuma FM. He started this week. What are your thoughts if you've been listening to Bongani Mtolo on Vuma? I did listen to him, quite impressed. It's early days, so let's see as a Kubega and the show yake. But if you're in KZN, or you're not only in KZN, if you've been listening to him, even if you're outside of KZN, what do you think of Bongani Mtolo? Those who are outside of KZN, who have not been able to listen to Vuma FM, it's a station in KZN, a commercial radio station in KZN, and Bongani Mtolo has been with some of the biggest radio stations in the country. He was with East Coast Radio, then he went to be with Radio 2000. Now he's with Vuma FM. So tell me, what are your thoughts with that one? And I'd like to leave you with the question for this week. What is going on with the MK party? What on earth is going on with the MK party? Why am I asking this question? You would remember that former President Jacob Zuma removed Arthur Zwane, who was their secretary. Then he brought him back to that position. Then he removed him again. Then last week, this week, we heard that 18 MPs have been removed from parliament. This is unheard of. I've never heard of 18 MPs being removed from parliament in one go. And that has happened with the MK party. I would love to know your thoughts. I've heard Untlamulo Ndlela, who is an MK spokesperson, the reason they've been removed is because their names were submitted in an irregular manner. It's not the list that was approved by the leadership of the party. So then they thought they would rectify this after AMA elections because they didn't want the parliamentary list to distract them from campaigning for elections. But nonetheless, it seems like a lot is happening with the MK. So what do you think about what has happened with the MK party, with the 18 MPs that have been removed from parliament? I'd love to know your thoughts. Please go on the comment section and share your thoughts with me. This is Layman's View, where we review a week that was. I'm Ntobeko Khuluse. It's on podcast, radio, and stuff. Please catch our episode tomorrow at 9 a.m. where we will be talking to a radio person. You don't want to miss that episode, so stick around. It's podcast, radio, and stuff. Have a great one.